31-year-old DJ Ferguson, he's in bad need of a heart transplant. Now, the reason for this is because he's got this hereditary condition that causes his lungs and his heart to fill with blood and fluid, which sounds horrible. But sadly, he's not gonna be getting that heart transplant because he has not and will not get the COVID-19 vaccine, which is required for these types of things, as transplants. His family was talking to Tucker Carlson on Fox News about this situation, so let's watch.
It sucks because, his nurses are amazing. They've been amazing to him. Yeah. His doctors have been amazing to him, but it's just, having that dangled over our head at the very last minute after he had been through all the testing, after he received his letter saying that he was accepted onto the transplant list. It's just so disheartening that they would hang that over his head, right at the last moment.
You gotta wonder, where are all the decent people in this country who send money to Brigham Women's or who, sustain its worldwide reputation as a great hospital that cares about patients? Has anyone come to your aid? This is such a moral atrocity. Has anyone taken your side in this?
Not really. Besides, basically just the fundraising we've done for ourselves. We're both self-employed small business owners. And aside from that, no, we haven't gotten any help.
They're still looking for help in the situation when there's one option left. Let's go to some more details from the Fox News story here. The hospital told CBS Boston that its policy is in line with other transplant programs in the US that require the vaccine because it fits under the lifestyle behaviors of the candidates. The statement said that it's the hospital's goal to create both the best chance for successful operation and also the patient's survival after transplantation. Also, Dr. Arthur Kaplan, who's the head of the medical ethics at NYU Grossman School of Medicine, told CBS Boston that vaccination is necessary for transplants because the patient's immune system is essentially turned off. It's turned off. More from this, as how bad this could be when you don't get vaccinated or in any circumstance when you try and get a transplant. The flu could kill you and a cold could kill you. So COVID could definitely kill you. I added the definitely part. The organs are scarce. We're not gonna distribute them to someone who has a poor chance of living when others who are vaccinated have a better chance post-surgery of surviving. Is also what he told the station. That's Dr. Arthur Kaplan as well. So there's all these policies across the country. So they're looking for different ways to make sure that they can get by this rule. And he just doesn't want to. So Ferguson's father was talking about some of the thoughts that DJ had and reasons why he wasn't gonna do it here. Let's jump down to the graphic number 5 here. Ferguson's father, David, said getting vaccinated is kind of against his basic principles and that his son, quote, doesn't believe in it. Okay, I understand that. I think my boy is fighting pretty damn courageously and he has integrity and principles he really believes in. And that makes me respect him all the more. It's his body and it's his choice. I agree. It's his body, it's his choice. After outcry from his family, the hospital agreed to perform open heart surgery. This is this other part about this, and I want you guys to remember when, and I feel for this family. His wife said, no one is here to help us and no one is trying to help us. Now let's read that graphic. After outcry from his family, the hospital agreed to perform open heart surgery to fit a pump that will keep him alive for another 5 years. That's 5 years worth of help, in my opinion. Maybe there's something that can change in that time. Maybe there's some change of heart that can happen. Maybe there's a thought process he can have where he wants to continue on and see his kids grow up, or at least as long as possible past that 5 years. So David, this is when we're getting the details of some of these stories where people have to make a life or death decision on multiple ranges. So if you do get the transplant, who knows what could happen to you? And if you don't, we know what's gonna happen to you.
This guy is literally one of the most selfish people I've ever heard of in terms of transplant lists. It's not about him, it's about his family. His family clearly wants him around for a few more years. And so put aside your own antagonism towards the vaccine, just get the vaccine so you can get a transplant. And the fact of the matter is, yes, there are a scarcity number of hearts and livers and everything else, and doctors should be trying to find those patients who've got the best chance of long-term survival. If this guy really loves his family, if he wants to stand on principle, then live to be able to stand on your principle. Don't put your family through this.
It's horrible to have to watch it and then see the circumstances that it does if there's not more on it. But he's got 5 years, and all I can hope is that he changes his mind. Now, you said he's probably one of the more selfish transplants people. We do have another story really fast within the same vein. A man in North Carolina He's had COVID twice, and he's also refusing the vaccine, but he needs a kidney transplant. Let's go to the details from this guy, Chad Carswell. He's a double amputee, so he's already lost both legs. He's undergone major heart surgeries in the past, has kidneys that are only functioning at 4%, and he's currently undergoing dialysis 3 times a week while he seeks out a transplant. Now, many issues people have with transplants or getting them or trying to get to that endpoint is receiving the organ. That's not his problem here. His friends and local businesses in Burke County, this is again in North Carolina, have raised funds for the surgery, and more than 100 people have offered one of their own kidneys to the man. A lot of people love him. He said the last thing, now when the hospital and the doctors told him, we got to get this vaccine for you to take care of this whole situation, he said the last thing we need to talk about is your vaccine status. That's what Carswell was remembering the doctor saying. And that's when I politely told them that there's nothing really to talk about. It wasn't up for debate and I wasn't getting it. Then the doctor told me, you know you'll die if you don't get it. And I said, I'm willing to die. And last point, David, I was born free. I will die free. This is what Carswell told News Station. I'm not changing my mind. I've had conversations with my family and everybody that's close to me. They know where I stand, and it'll not be a situation that occurs while I choose to change, that I will choose to change my mind on this topic.
Well, I give him credit for being honest, and he's gonna die. And at least he's sparing one of his friends who was willing to donate a kidney from having to have his own operation for a kidney that would ultimately be useless if the guy wasn't gonna get a vaccine and somehow got exposed to COVID. Again, it's another example of incredible selfishness. And I feel so badly, JR, for these people's families because their families, why are you putting your vaccine and your antipathy against the vaccine ahead of the love for your own family? You're willing to die? You want to stand on principle? That doesn't do your family and your friends any favors.
I guess to a certain extent, because some people get sick of having multiple health issues and things that went through in their life, and they're like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I understand that. And if that's part of it, I'm not a big proponent of as soon as someone says I'm having these thoughts and issues about not wanting to be here anymore, we go and assist it, right? Give folks some help. But he's been through a lot. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with it anymore. I don't know what goes through his mind every day, but he seems pretty content. And as I think my uncle would say, if you like it, I love it. It's not my life.
Yeah, look, if he's had enough and he's lived his life and he says, you know what, I don't want to keep fighting this. I don't want to fight it with a vaccine. Then okay. And spare your friends from having to donate their kidneys and whatever. Okay, say goodbye. Say goodbye to all your loved ones and all your friends. Thanks for all your support. And that's it. Okay, I guess I can respect it. He's had a hard life. He just wants to say enough.
It's sad, but that's it. That's life.